Hey there, you looking kinda cute. Don't forget to subscribe and check out my other socials for more. Enjoy. The next morning dawned bright and clear. Lisa packed her bags, now filled with a mix of her old clothes and her new wardrobe. As she zipped up the suitcase, she felt a pang of sadness. These 2 weeks had been transformative in ways she never could have imagined. Downstairs, Anne, Jennifer, and Carolyn were waiting to say goodbye. There were hugs all around and more than a few tears. "Don't be a stranger," Carolyn said, squeezing Lisa's hand. "Call us anytime, day or night." Jennifer handed her a care package. "Some of your favorite products and a few surprises," she explained with a wink. Anne was the last to say goodbye. She cupped Lisa's face in her hands, studying her intently. "You're ready," she said softly. "Go out there and show the world the amazing woman you are." Lisa nodded, unable to speak past the lump in her throat. She picked up her bags and walked to her car, pausing to wave one last time before getting in. As she drove away, Lisa caught sight of herself in the rearview mirror. The face that looked back at her was familiar now, soft, feminine, confident. She smiled, feeling a surge of excitement for what the future held. The first stop was her apartment. Lisa had taken 2 weeks off work, citing a family emergency, but tomorrow she would have to return to her job. As she unlocked the door, she felt like she was entering a stranger's home. Her old clothes hung in the closet, a reminder of the life she was leaving behind. Lisa ran her hand over a suit jacket, remembering how constricting it had always felt. Now she couldn't imagine wearing it again. She spent the afternoon reorganizing her closet, making room for her new wardrobe. As she hung up dresses and arranged shoes, she thought about how to approach her co-workers and friends. Should she come out all at once, gradually transition, continue living a double life? There were no easy answers, but for the first time, Lisa felt equipped to face these challenges. That evening, she ordered takeout and settled on the couch with her laptop. She opened her email and began composing a message to her boss. "Dear Mr. Thompson," she typed, then paused. How much should she reveal? After several attempts, she settled on a version that felt right. "I hope this email finds you well. I wanted to discuss some personal changes that may affect my work life. I've recently begun a gender transition and will be presenting as female going forward. My name is now Lisa, and I use she/her pronouns. I would appreciate your support as I navigate this change in the workplace. I'm happy to discuss this further at your convenience. Thank you for your understanding. Best regards, Lisa, formerly Lars Anderson." Her finger hovered over the send button for several long moments before she finally clicked it. There was no going back now. The next morning, Lisa woke early. She went through her new morning routine: shower, skincare, makeup, hair. As she dressed in a conservative blouse and pencil skirt, she felt a mix of anxiety and excitement. The drive to work seemed both longer and shorter than usual. As she parked her car, Lisa took a deep breath, centering herself the way Jennifer had taught her during their yoga sessions. "You can do this," she whispered to herself, checking her reflection one last time before exiting the car. The office was already bustling when Lisa walked in. She held her head high, ignoring the double takes and whispers that followed her to her desk. A few minutes later, Mr. Thompson appeared at her cubicle. "Lisa, could you come to my office, please?" Heart pounding, Lisa followed him. Once inside, Mr. Thompson closed the door and turned to face her. "I received your email," he began. "I want you to know that we support you fully. We'll send out a company-wide memo today, and HR will schedule some sensitivity training for the staff. Is there anything else you need from us to make this transition smoother?" Lisa felt a wave of relief wash over her. "Thank you, Mr. Thompson. That means more than you know. I think just treating me as you always have, but as Lisa, is all I need." He nodded, a small smile on his face. "You've always been one of our best employees, Lisa. That hasn't changed. Now let's go introduce you to the team properly." As they walked back into the main office, Lisa stood tall. This was just the beginning of her new life, and she was ready to embrace every moment of it. The weeks that followed were a whirlwind of adjustments and revelations. At work, most of Lisa's colleagues were supportive, though there were a few uncomfortable silences and awkward conversations. She found unexpected allies and lost a few people she had considered friends. But overall, the transition was smoother than she had dared to hope. Outside of work, Lisa began the process of legally changing her name and gender marker. It was a bureaucratic maze of paperwork and appointments, but each step filled her with a sense of validation. She also started attending a support group for transgender individuals, which Anne had recommended. There, she found a community of people who understood her struggles and joys in a way no one else could. She formed close friendships, particularly with a trans man named Michael, who was always ready with a joke or a word of encouragement. One Saturday afternoon, about a month after her training with Anne, Lisa decided it was time to clean out the last of her old clothes. As she sorted through shirts and pants that no longer felt like hers, she came across a small box pushed to the back of her closet. Inside were mementos from her life, as Lars' old photographs, certificates, trinkets from trips. Lisa sat on the floor, sifting through the items with a bittersweet feeling. This was her history. A part of her she couldn't erase, even if she wanted to. She picked up a photo of herself as a child, grinning at the camera with a missing front tooth. "Oh, little one," she murmured. "If only you knew what was ahead." As she continued to sort through the box, Lisa realized she didn't want to get rid of these memories. They were part of her journey, stepping stones that had led her to become the woman she was today. She found a new box, one with a floral pattern, and carefully transferred the items into it. This box wouldn't be hidden in the back of her closet. Instead, she placed it on a shelf in her living room, a reminder of how far she had come. That evening, Lisa met up with some friends from her support group for dinner. As they chatted and laughed over plates of pasta, she felt a deep sense of belonging. These people saw her for who she truly was, without any of the baggage from her past. "Hey, Lisa," Michael said during a lull in the conversation. "We're thinking of organizing a Pride event next month. Want to help out?" Lisa hesitated for a moment. The idea of being so publicly out was still a bit daunting. But then she remembered Anne's words. "Go out there and show the world the amazing woman you are." "You know what? I'd love to," she replied, grinning. The next few weeks were a flurry of activity as Lisa threw herself into helping organize the event. She designed flyers, coordinated with local businesses for sponsorships, and even agreed to give a short speech. The night before the event, Lisa couldn't sleep. She tossed and turned, her mind racing with all the things that could go wrong. What if she tripped on stage? What if her voice cracked during her speech? What if someone from her past showed up and caused a scene? Finally, she got up and made herself a cup of chamomile tea, just as Carolyn had taught her. As she sipped the soothing liquid, she pulled out her phone and dialed Anne's number. "Lisa?" Anne's sleepy voice answered. "Is everything okay?" "I'm sorry for calling so late," Lisa said. I'm nervous about tomorrow. What if I'm not ready for this?" She heard rustling on the other end of the line, then Anne's voice came through clearer. "Lisa, honey, listen to me. You are more than ready. You've come so far in such a short time. Remember how scared you were that first day in the supermarket? Look at you now, organizing events, giving speeches. You're amazing." Lisa felt tears prick at her eyes. "Thank you, Anne. I don't know what I'd do without you." "You'd be just fine," Anne said firmly. "Because you're strong, Lisa. Stronger than you know. Now get some sleep. Tomorrow is your day to shine." After hanging up, Lisa felt calmer. She finished her tea and went back to bed, falling into a peaceful sleep. The day of the Pride event dawned bright and clear. Lisa dressed carefully in a colorful sundress and comfortable wedge sandals. She did her makeup with extra care, adding a touch of glitter to her eyes in honor of the occasion. When she arrived at the park where the event was being held, she was amazed by the transformation. Rainbow flags fluttered in the breeze, booths lined the pathways, and a stage had been set up at the far end. Michael greeted her with a hug. "You ready for this, superstar?" Lisa took a deep breath and nodded. "As ready as I'll ever be." The event was a whirlwind of activity. Lisa found herself moving from booth to booth, chatting with attendees and helping coordinate last-minute details. Before she knew it, it was time for her speech. As she climbed the steps to the stage, Lisa's heart pounded. She scanned the crowd and suddenly froze. There, near the back, was a familiar face, her older brother, Tom. For a moment, Lisa considered fleeing. She hadn't spoken to Tom since before her transition, unsure of how he would react. But then she saw the encouraging smile on his face, the small rainbow flag he held, and she felt a surge of courage. Lisa stepped up to the microphone and began to speak. She talked about her journey, the challenges she had faced, and the joy of finally living as her true self. As she spoke, she saw heads nodding, heard murmurs of agreement, and felt the support of the crowd washing over her. "We all have our own paths to walk," she concluded, "but we don't have to walk them alone. Together, we can create a world where everyone is free to be their authentic selves." The crowd erupted in applause. As Lisa made her way off the stage, she was engulfed in hugs and congratulations. But she gently extracted herself, her eyes fixed on her brother. Tom met her halfway, his eyes shining with unshed tears. "Lisa," he said, his voice choked with emotion. "I'm so proud of you." They embraced, years of unspoken words and fears melting away in that moment. When they pulled apart, Tom held her at arm's length, studying her face. "You look happy," he said simply. Lisa nodded, wiping away a tear. "I am. I really am." As the event wound down, Lisa found herself surrounded by her chosen family, her friends from the support group, Michael, and even Anne, Jennifer, and Carolyn, who had surprised her by showing up. Looking around at the smiling faces, Lisa felt a profound sense of peace. This was where she belonged. This was who she was meant to be. Later that night, as she got ready for bed, Lisa caught sight of herself in the mirror. The woman who looked back at her was confident, happy, and whole. She touched the butterfly pendant that still hung around her neck, a reminder of where her journey had begun. "Hello, Lisa," she said softly to her reflection. And for the first time in her life, she felt truly, completely at home in her own skin. The months that followed were filled with both triumphs and challenges. Lisa continued to grow more comfortable in her identity, but there were still moments of doubt and difficulty. One particularly trying day came when she received an invitation to her high school reunion. The thought of facing people who had known her as Lars filled her with anxiety. She spent days agonizing over whether to attend, alternating between determination to show her true self and fear of rejection. Finally, she decided to go, but not alone. She asked Michael to accompany her as her +1, drawing strength from his unwavering support. The night of the reunion arrived, and Lisa dressed with care in an elegant cocktail dress that made her feel confident and beautiful. As she and Michael entered the hotel ballroom where the event was being held, she took a deep breath, steeling herself for the reactions to come. At first, there were whispers and stares. Lisa felt her resolve wavering, but Michael squeezed her hand reassuringly. Then, a familiar voice called out, "Lars, is that you?" Lisa turned to see her old friend, Emily, approaching with a look of surprise that quickly turned to a warm smile. "It's Lisa now," she said, her voice steady despite her nerves. Emily's smile widened. "Lisa, it suits you. You look amazing." With that ice broken, others began to approach. There were awkward moments and a few unkind remarks, but overall, Lisa was touched by the acceptance she received. Many of her former classmates expressed admiration for her courage, and she found herself sharing her story again and again throughout the night. As the evening wore on, Lisa found herself at the punch bowl, taking a moment to collect her thoughts. A man she didn't immediately recognize approached her. "I don't know if you remember me," he said hesitantly. "I'm Alex. We had chemistry together senior year." Lisa nodded, the memory coming back to her. "Of course. How are you, Alex?" He shuffled his feet, looking uncomfortable. I wanted to apologize. I wasn't very kind to you in high school. I was dealing with my own issues and took it out on others. Seeing you now so confident and happy, it made me realize how wrong I was." "I'm sorry." Lisa was taken aback by the unexpected apology. She studied Alex's face, seeing genuine remorse there. "Thank you, Alex," she said softly. "That means a lot." As they chatted, Lisa realized that her journey hadn't just transformed her, it had the power to change others as well. By living authentically, she was opening minds and hearts. The reunion proved to be a turning point for Lisa. She left that night feeling more secure in her identity than ever before. The fear of her past colliding with her present had been faced and overcome. One afternoon, she received a call from Anne. "Lisa, darling," Anne's warm voice came through the phone. "How would you feel about coming to stay with us for a weekend? We're hosting a workshop for other trans women, and we'd love for you to be a guest speaker." Lisa felt a flutter of excitement. "I'd be honored, Anne." Lisa felt a surge of excitement as she packed her bag for the weekend workshop at Anne's. It had been several months since she'd seen her mentors, and she was eager to reconnect. As she folded a few favorite outfits into her suitcase, she marveled at how far she'd come since that first awkward meeting in the supermarket. The drive to Anne's Victorian home was filled with a mix of anticipation and nostalgia. As Lisa pulled into the driveway, she saw Anne, Jennifer, and Carolyn waiting on the porch, beaming with pride. "Look at you!" Carolyn exclaimed as Lisa stepped out of the car. "You're absolutely glowing!" The women embraced, chattering excitedly as they made their way inside. The house was just as Lisa remembered it, warm and inviting, filled with the soft scent of vanilla and lavender. "The other guests will be arriving tomorrow morning," Anne explained as they settled in the living room with cups of herbal tea. "We thought it would be nice to have an evening to catch up first." Lisa nodded gratefully. "I've missed you all so much. I can't tell you how often I've thought about our time together." Jennifer leaned forward, her eyes sparkling with curiosity. "Tell us everything. How has life been treating you?" For the next few hours, Lisa regaled them with stories of her experiences, the triumphs and challenges at work, the emotional reunion with her brother, and the unexpected connections she'd made at her high school reunion. "I'm so proud of you," Anne said softly, reaching out to squeeze Lisa's hand. "You've flourished in ways I could only have hoped for." As the evening wore on, the conversation shifted to the upcoming workshop. Lisa felt a flutter of nervousness in her stomach. "What exactly will I be talking about?" she asked. Carolyn smiled reassuringly. "Just your journey, Lisa. These women are at the beginning of their transitions, much like you were when you first came to us. Your story will inspire them, show them what's possible." Lisa nodded, feeling a mix of excitement and responsibility. "I'll do my best." The next morning, Lisa woke early, unable to contain her nervous energy. She took extra care with her appearance, wanting to present her best self to the workshop attendees. As she made her way downstairs, she could hear the murmur of voices in the living room. Taking a deep breath, she stepped into the room. 5 women turned to look at her, their expressions a mix of curiosity and apprehension. Lisa recognized that look. It was the same one she had worn on her first day here. "Ladies," Anne said warmly, "I'd like you to meet Lisa. She'll be sharing her story with us today." Lisa smiled, her nerves melting away as she took in the hopeful faces before her. "It's wonderful to meet you all," she said. "I was sitting exactly where you are not too long ago, and I can't wait to share what I've learned on this incredible journey." As the day progressed, Lisa found herself opening up in ways she never had before. She spoke about the fear and uncertainty she had felt at the beginning, the moments of doubt and dysphoria that still occasionally crept in, and the indescribable joy of finally living as her true self. The other women listened intently, asking questions and sharing their own experiences. Lisa was touched by their vulnerability and strength. During a break, one of the attendees, a shy woman named Rachel, approached Lisa. "I just wanted to thank you," Rachel said softly. "I've been so scared to start this process, but hearing your story, it gives me hope." Lisa felt a lump form in her throat. "Oh, Rachel," she said, impulsively pulling the woman into a hug. "You're so much stronger than you know. This journey isn't easy, but I promise you it's worth it." As the workshop came to a close, Lisa found herself exchanging contact information with the other attendees, promising to stay in touch and offer support whenever needed. That evening, as she sat on the porch with Anne, watching the sun set, Lisa felt a profound sense of completion. "You know," she said thoughtfully, "when I first came here, I thought I was just learning how to look and sound like a woman. But it was so much more than that. You taught me how to be myself." Anne smiled, her eyes misty. "Oh, my dear, you always were yourself. We just helped you find the courage to show that self to the world." Lisa nodded, feeling a swell of emotion. "I don't know how I can ever repay you for what you've given me." Anne shook her head. "You already have, Lisa. By living your truth, by helping others on their journeys, that's all the repayment we could ever ask for." Thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out my other socials if you want more wonderful content, early access, behind the scenes, and more. All links down below.